Hello friends, and welcome to our final week of our self-care challenge. This week is really exciting because it is the number one thing that really makes a difference and really helps to improve your quality of life one little bitty bit at a time. If you're new around here, we are doing a self-care challenge. So in the past 4 weeks, we have had a video each week with printables and a challenge for each one that's quick, 5 minutes that you can do each day so that you can take charge of your life, feel more mentally free, and just feel happier and more refreshed overall. Today, we're talking about all the things that drive you crazy. And I'm sure there are about 50 million. I call these things little stressors. So now I don't mean big stressors. I don't mean anything big or huge. I'm not talking about like money and mortgage or anything super stressful or fights or anything like that. I'm talking about little things. Those like little things that maybe don't make the hugest difference, but they kind of eat away at you each day. And every time you see it and every time it happens, it just kind of takes a little chunk out of you. There are many examples of little stressors in your life, and today we're gonna figure out how to identify them and how to get rid of them. So little stressors are those little things that just drive you crazy. Things like never being able to find the keys. Things like your students keep coming up and asking you questions, the same question over and over and over and over. Things like being bored to death at your duty post. Things like that closet that just every time you open it, you're like, oh my gosh, drives me crazy. These things are all little stressors. Little stressors that take up your mental space. We talked last week all about having mental clarity, and this is one of the biggest things to help with that mental clarity, because every time you see them, every time they happen, you get frustrated. So instead of just dealing with all these little things that drive you nuts, I want you to approach them from a way of how can I fix this so it doesn't drive me crazy anymore. So whether this is mail on the counter, that picture frame that still has the stock photo in it because you never put a real photo in, or losing things, or whatever it is, we're gonna make up a system to fix it today. I'm gonna go ahead and tell you, this is your action item for this week, is to identify your little stressors and then to make a plan to fix at least one. I'm gonna give you a few examples so that you know kind of more what I'm talking about. So my first example is being bored to death at your duty post. I have had a few different duty posts at school through different years, but one of them in particular, I hated so much. I would stand on the corner outside in the humidity in Georgia, yay, and hold a stop sign at the exit of the car rider ramp. Okay, right? Here's the deal. No one was coming through there. Nobody was trying to go into the car rider ramp. No one was there. So it was completely useless for me to be there, first of all. Secondly, I was so I am the kind of person who cannot deal with my brain being bored. I need to just do something all the time. Like I love doing things with my hands. That's why I do all the things. I call myself a serial entrepreneur because I try to turn everything into a business because I just can't sit still. So standing at this duty post in the humid, hot weather in the morning when it would like make my hair go out to here first thing in the morning, like I just curled it, and holding a stop sign when no one's trying to come in was not. So I still hated it, but one thing that I did in order to improve it is that I would listen to a podcast. So I found a bunch of music ed podcasts, so I would listen to them in the morning. It kind of got me in the mood for school because it was talking about music ed, and it would give me really good tips and ideas for lesson plans. And also I wasn't bored because my brain was engaged, but I was still paying attention because, you know, I was just listening. I didn't even put headphones in so I could still hear everything. I just would actually hold my phone or stick it in my pocket if I had a pocket and just play it out loud because no one was walking past me, so no one would know. And they were totally appropriate. Anyway, so that's one little example. Another example is the fact that because I hated my duty post and because I was like, okay, I can go stand in the corner where nobody is trying to come in, or I can, you know, be in my classroom doing things that matter. I had a really hard time getting to my duty post on time, mostly just because I didn't want to. I'm like, I don't want to stop doing the lesson planning and the grading and the things that make a difference to go stand on the corner. It just, I just couldn't deal with it. And I was continually late. So what I did was, after I was caught being late for the second or third time, I set an alarm on my phone for about 3 minutes before I had to leave. And that let me know, okay, stop what you're doing and go. That gave me enough time to finish up whatever I was doing and go to my duty post, which was on the opposite end of the school, and get there on time so that for the rest of the year, I wasn't late, I wasn't in trouble, I was on it and doing what I was supposed to. A few more examples. I had a very big issue with students turning in papers because they didn't know where to turn papers in because I didn't have a place for them to turn papers in. So I would have kids constantly coming up to me with their worksheets or their coloring sheets or whatever and trying to hand them to me, or they would leave them on the table, or they would leave them over here, but I wanted them to leave them over there. And it was just this huge thing that resulted in my classroom being a mess and just all the stuff everywhere. So I went and I bought a basket from Home Goods. It's just a little blue tray, and I stuck it on the bookshelf and I told everyone, this is your turn it in bin. Anytime you have to turn anything in, I don't care what it is, you're gonna put it in this bin. That's the only place it goes. Do not put anything in my hands because I'm gonna lose it. Do not put it on the table because I will not find it. Put it in the bin where it's a 0. And so then even when kids came up to me, because they, you know, still they're kids, so they come up to me and they're like, here, I'm finished. I don't even say anything. I just point to the bin and just point, and they get the picture and they go put it in. And that saves me from having to talk, and it also saves me from losing all their papers all over the place, which is what normally happens. And the last example I'm gonna give is, if you are constantly losing something, then give it a home base, somewhere to live. So if you're losing your keys, get a key rack. If you're losing your ID, stick it in your purse or stick it in your car. Anything that you can do that's going to make those things better. I, in my classroom, was constantly setting things down on one table and not being able to find them because I would think they're on the other table or on my desk. So I got a cart from Target. They have pretty much the same one from IKEA and from Amazon, so I'll link one down below. And I put all of the important things on my cart. I love my cart. I even had my husband get some vinyl letters and put my name on my cart so everyone knows it's mine. But on my cart, I had things like pencils, pens, nurse passes, hallway passes, and then I have anything important for that day. So in the morning, I will make sure, okay, I have all the books that we're gonna read, I have this, I have that. I also put things like my stuffed owl, because I teach elementary music and you just always need a stuffed owl. I put maracas or rhythm sticks. I put chimes, like different things that I need for attention getters. Just anything that I could possibly need goes on my cart. I also put extra things, so if we just somehow manage to have an extra 10 minutes, I put things like blank paper and word searches on there so that if we just are in a pinch, they're there and we can grab them and go. This cart has saved my life because I know that I put everything on there. I know that I put my clipboard with the seating charts on top every single time. And I know that I put my iPad that is mirroring my desktop so that I can see everything on my cart every single time. These little tiny things make the biggest difference because I'm now no longer trying to look everywhere. I know that I put it on my cart. And I even tell the kids, like, if you see me, try to put something down, not on the cart. Tell me, Miss Davis, put it on the cart. And they've never actually done that, but I do tell them to do it. All of these things basically boil down to, if you have a problem, identify it, and then come up with a system. So you might need to buy a basket. You might need to set an alarm. You might need to set 2 alarms if you can't get moving the first time. You might need to have a place where you put all of the mail. You might need to go find a key rack. Just be creative and think through, what is something that I can make better today? If your kids are always asking you the same question, make a poster and point to the answer instead of having them ask constantly, or make them have a routine and a system so that they are minimizing that problem and you're fixing their problems too. For this week's action item, this is your last action item. You're going to identify any little stressors. There's lots of lines, so if you have lots of them, and know children's names, problems, then write them down, and then identify at least one to fix this week. That might be cleaning the garage. That might be, you know, deciding I'm just gonna drink a smoothie every single morning for breakfast because I can't be bothered to find something else to have for breakfast. Doing that made my life so much easier. So whatever it is, write your answer down, try it out for a week. If you don't like it, you can always adjust it later. It's not set in stone, but do something about it. Instead of being annoyed every single time you walk past the closet, just clean the closet. Instead of being annoyed by that pile of things that need to go to Goodwill, just take it to Goodwill. So some of them are as simple as that, and others might take a little more creativity, like setting alarms, finding baskets, making routines, those kind of things. Especially if you are looking for more organizational things, I would recommend Pinterest. They are like the organizational powerhouse. Just type in whatever you're trying to organize, pantry organization, closet organization, and you'll see 50,000 different ideas for ways that you can organize your stuff and just make it a lot better. Also classroom organization. There's lots of stuff there to make it better. This is actually our last video, which means it is time to take your post assessment. So hopefully at the beginning you took your pre-assessment to see where you fell on the stress scale, and hopefully you've been following along each week. So now after you do your assignment, you can either do it the post test today, or you can wait until you fix your little stressors and then take it then. But hopefully you did a lot better. And if you did, I would love it if you let me know in the comments things that you have fixed with your little stressors and also your post assessment. If you did not get your post assessment, then you can click the link down below and I will make sure that you get all the printables that you need. Thank you so much for watching, and if you've been here the whole time, thank you so much for hanging out with us with this whole self-care challenge. It is really gonna make a difference. I would love to hear all about the difference that it's made in your life, either in the comments or on my Instagram, becca.e.davis. I'm aware that that's a little obnoxious, but when your name's Rebecca Davis, I mean, what you gonna do? Thank you so much for watching. I can't wait to talk to you and see how everything has gone, and I will see you guys next week. Bye.